Welcome, Catholic gamers. I have a very special guest. We have our president and publisher of Loyola Press, Joellyn Cicciarelli.
Hi, thanks so much for having me today.
Joellyn, thank you very much for being here with us today. And Wanderlight is what we're here to talk about. But before we get to the game, can you tell me a little bit more about your ministry? I was doing a little bit of online sleuth work, and I see that it's a Jesuit ministry that has over 100 years of serving. So please take it from there.
Sure. So Loyola Press is an apostolate of the Midwest province of the Society of Jesus, so the Jesuits. And we have been in the same location on Ashland Avenue in Chicago since 1912. We actually predate the province. We were originally attached to Loyola University Chicago. And then in very short order, we started to develop curriculum products for religious education and English language arts. And so we have both a curriculum division that serves infants through grade 12. And then we also have a trade division that creates materials for children and seekers who are interested in Catholicism and Ignatian spirituality.
Great. I love that. I've seen you guys publish a lot of books. I think I have a few of your books throughout the years from Loyola Press, and I just want to thank you on my behalf, personally, on behalf of a lot of Catholics. Thank you for doing this great ministry, which serves a lot of good for our church and beyond as well.
It's my pleasure.
And now you're venturing out into the more modern digital age, right? With this video game, Wanderlight. It's a COPA Award winner, which, for those of you that might not know, it's a Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So when we developed Wanderlight, we wanted to make sure that children's privacy was protected and that we created the safest game possible, because we know that parents have all sorts of really good objections to their kids being online and playing video games. So we went the extra mile and made sure that we were certified through COPPA so that everyone who used the game would know that it is safe and that children are protected. They are not out in the loose, in the wild, on the internet, and all of their information remains private.
Well, that's great, because I've heard so many stories of so many different games where suddenly somebody hacked the game, right? And all this information is out there. This personal information on the user end is all of a sudden out for these hackers to take advantage of. I don't know what they do with it. However, I can't imagine it being a good thing. Immediately comes to mind the Sony hack of, I think, was it 2007, something like that. For my viewers out there, just leave a comment down below if you know exactly what the year is. But yeah, a lot of info was stolen, and then all of a sudden I started getting a lot of emails from Russia and the Prince of Nigeria. And I'm sure that we definitely don't, if we don't like being exposed to it as adults, we definitely don't want our children being exposed to it as well. And well, I have so many questions. I'm almost paralyzed here, but I picked a few here that I really want to know about. What inspired this game into existence? Like you might have had a hunch, right, that there's not that very many Catholic games out there.
No.
This is actually the first one I've ever even heard about. So what inspired this game? What brought it into life?
So it's been really a decade in development in some sort. It was a dream at least 10 years ago. St. Ignatius always said, go in their door and take them out yours. So we took a look at where kids were, and increasingly they were online. And in school, they were learning through digital textbooks and interactive e-courseware. So we thought that this would be the next right place to provide catechesis and faith formation for kids. So that was a practical reason for doing it. And then the inspiration for it, and I was part of the creative team 10 years ago and was able to kind of bring the game to life. Really, the inspiration was our founder, St. Ignatius of Loyola. He called himself the Pilgrim in his autobiography. And he likened his life journey and his faith journey to a pilgrimage. And we also were inspired by walking in the light of Christ, by missionary discipleship, and by helping children learn about the faith through experiences of being a disciple of Jesus. So the light factors, and you can see the poster behind my head. I have a poster of the pilgrim with his lantern or her lantern. It's an avatar that the child takes over. And in the game, when you make good decisions or you make choices that bring you closer to God, your light will shine brighter in the game. And if you are making choices that maybe turn away from God or aren't in line with the way we proceed as Catholics, your light could flicker or dim. So there's this intrinsic sense of right and wrong. So the inspiration really was St. Ignatius of Loyola, of meeting kids where they are, and of walking as a child of the light. And we also wanted the game to be fun, because there is nothing worse than a boring video game. So we decided that fun was going to be paramount. So could we connect kids with the divine? Could we teach them core tenets of the faith? And could they have a little fun while they were doing it? And those were kind of the inspirations for the game.
Well, that's great. I'm so happy to hear that. Saint Ignatius, wonderful saint that we have in our church. Great example to follow. And I've played a little bit of the game so far. I'm not completely done with it yet. But so far what I've seen, it's been very educational. I think that it's something that's going to be fun, not only for kids, but for people of all ages as well. I couldn't help but notice that it falls under the point and click genre of video games. So I want to know why this genre? What other options were there when you were in the beginning stages of creating this video game?
Sure. So we worked with a wonderful group called Fable Vision out of Boston. They're owned by Peter and Paul Reynolds, who happen to be Catholic. And actually, Paul is an adjunct professor at Boston College. So it's a Catholic-owned company. So we knew that they would, out of the gate, they would understand who we are and what we stand for. But we wanted to make sure that the gameplay worked for what we were going for. So we looked back at games like Legends of Zelda, Stardew Valley, and we felt like they had the right vibe that we were going for. They had, for the player, they created a sense of the serene, but still enticed them to play. And so I think that is part of what led us down that direction. We also wanted to make sure that the game was fully voiced over, because we knew that there are children who aren't readers who might like to play. So we made sure that the game had not only words on the screen for non-readers, but voiceover, or for readers, but voiceover for kids who didn't read. So those were some of the decisions that went into it. We really took a look at video games in all genres and then sort of narrowed into where we wanted to go.
Yes, you absolutely nailed the feel of Legend of Zelda, and also the other game that came to mind while I was playing it was Earthbound. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but so you absolutely nailed that feel for those types of games, and I think it goes really well with the whole pilgrimage theme that these games have as well. So another thing, I mean, it's been since God came into my life, and that was many years ago. I've been a lifelong gamer, in my adult life, on and off. But one of the things that I always wished for was for a Catholic-based video game. I didn't know exactly what that would look like, but I always saw it as something that's maybe impossible in my mind to think about, just considering what the gaming culture is like right now. But you, in a way, you did the impossible, at least what I thought was going to be impossible. How did you approach a project like this in the beginning?
So it like I said, it was 10 years in development. So in the very beginning, we took a look at story. Jesus taught through parable and story. We understood that story is a driver in a lot of games. So we brainstormed as a team. There were about 6 or 7 of us on a core team, and we took a look at what do we want kids to walk away with, and what is the best way to help them walk away with that. And we felt that the ideas of quests and of meeting characters and of sort of living a storyline would be the right way to go. One of the very cool things about the game is when you end every level, you're invited to do a special form of prayer that's called the Examen.
Yes.
And it's a prayer that St. Ignatius developed. And what we were hoping for with the Examen is that the kids examined what they did in the gameplay, and then they figured out how to transfer that to the real life, to their real world, to go to mass, to help a stranger, to make peace and not be violent. And so all of these little elements we talked about along the way, created storyboards for them, obviously chose saints. As we were going along with the quests, we would say, okay, which saint best fits our storyline? So you probably know that there's a quest where the pilgrim reunites a mother dog with puppies, and they meet Saint Francis of Assisi along the way to help them with that quest, because he's the patron saint of animals. So throughout the game, we made really conscious decisions all along so that everything fit together and worked.
Well, I'm glad that you all went ahead and did that, because it just, in my mind at least, knowing what I know with the state of video game culture and what it is, it's being involved with that demographic. I've noticed and been disappointed that the way, not just video games but entertainment in general, it's been kind of going more into the worldly sense. And I don't think people realize that when it goes in this direction, it's going against a lot of what God's laws of love were for us. Like the guidelines that will help us in our life, they're kind of brushed off in many ways through the storytelling that we see in popular media, including video games. I would almost say especially video games, because it's so far out there from what we believe in. And so how do you see the culture of video gaming now, and what we can do to contribute to it?
That is such a great question. My team is emailing me almost daily with ideas for the next iteration of video games, where we want to go. Some of the hallmarks of this game too, the underpinnings were the principles of Catholic social teaching. So care for God's creation, solidarity, the dignity of human life. All of those are sort of woven into the game. So for Catholics, I see almost a wide open field for video games. Scripture An amazing place to start. Stories of the Old Testament, parables of Jesus, church history, so rich. Lots and lots, the lives of the saints. There's a lot of places we can go. It's really, it's a matter of who has the dedication, the heart, the resources, the time to develop those games. Because I can tell you, for us, this really was a leap of faith, because no one has ever done it before. We believe we are the first truly Catholic video game in existence. We just couldn't find any comparable games. But also, as you know, as a gamer, it's very costly to develop, and it takes a long time. And so I want more of this, and I believe that there will be, but there have to be people who are dedicated and go into it in the right spirit with the right heart. We didn't go into this to make a lot of money. We went into this, we're a non-for-profit Jesuit ministry. We went into this because we thought it was the right way to connect with kids. We didn't know 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that COVID was going to hit. We didn't know that kids would be almost forced to be online for catechesis and learning and recreation in some ways. So the timing was fortuitous, but I really think that the future kind of is in the hands of content developers like us, to listen to what people want and then respond. Be brave enough to respond.
Amen to that. One time I was at a Congress, and I kept, this was many years ago, I was still pretty young, and I was listening to this priest speak, and I kept personally asking God, like, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that with my life? I was still at a crossroads as to what I should do. And there came a moment where the priest wasn't even talking about what I was praying about, but then he just said, risk it all, risk everything you have. If you risk it for God, He's gonna do wonders in your life. Whether you achieve what you want or not, it doesn't matter, because what you're gonna end up achieving is what God wants for you to achieve. And that moment, I just started crying and bawling, and I just fell to my knees, because I knew that those words, it was God speaking to me in that moment. And it takes a lot of bravery to risk something where you don't know exactly what you're doing. Sometimes you just gotta kind of go for it, regardless of what the voices in the background are gonna be yelling. And so you guys took a risk. You guys were brave, and I commend you for that. As a gamer, I really commend you for that. And I know there's going to be a lot of criticism from the world, because it seems like that's all the world is doing lately, just trying to cancel everything out. But hey, God, Jesus Christ showed us the best example of being canceled out, but not getting canceled in the end, because His power is greater than any of the power that we see here on earth from mere mortals, right? So thank you for Wanderlight. Thank you for everything that you've been doing. Can you tell maybe our viewers at home where they can get this game and how to play it? And my wife is a catechism teacher, and I was just thinking, oh my gosh, like, if I gotta, as soon as I finish playing this game, I gotta recommend this to her, so she can present it maybe to her classes, maybe not as part of the curriculum, but just for something to do for fun.
Sure. So we actually have two versions of the game. There's a parish and Catholic school version that your wife, as a catechist, would have an admin portal in the background. She could see the quests, the prayers that the kids have favorited, the saints that they've met. And we've seen some teachers and catechists actually assign parts of the game. So they'll say, play from the time you meet Moses until you save Captain Keith and all the people from the flood. and then we'll unpack that in class. So we've actually seen them use that. So we have that version of the game, and then we have the individual version of the game for at-home play. So either of those versions, you can go to wanderlightgame.com. So www.wanderlightgame.com. You'll see a button that says purchase now right there front and center on the site. Once you get there, you'll have a choice. You can contact Loyola Press to learn about the parish and school version. That will be, the licenses are distributed through the parish or the Catholic school, and then all of the teachers receive their logins and upload their kids into the game. Or the individual, you'll have some choices. You can either purchase it from our store, loyolapress.com store, or you can go to Google Play or the Apple App Store for tablets. We don't have a phone version of the game because the game is so immersive and interactive. It needs kind of a larger screen than what would be available on a phone. So if you have a tablet, a Google tablet, an Android tablet, or an Apple tablet, you can go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and download the game there. The game on the app stores, it's $2.99 a month, $31.99 for the year, and then it's the same if you order the desktop or PC version from our store for individuals. It's $31.99 for the game. That's all 7 levels. And then the school and parish is very reasonably priced. It's tiered by how many students you have in your program, but it can be as low as 99 cents a year for the kids. So so it just depends, but wanderlightgame.com is where you would go to get all of that information and purchase the game.
Well, Joellyn, thank you very much for being with us Catholic gamers here today. I hope that this is not the end and you get many more blessings, and we get more blessings in the form of video games as well, in addition to all the wonderful and infinite blessings that God has in store for us. Thank you very much for being with us, and to the viewers at home, till next time, ciao.
Thank you.